We got a Phoenix chef, a Phoenix husband and father, or ex-husband and father, who ended up killing his entire family, all the way down to his 10-month-old daughter. There are some cold men in this world. But let's get over into it and see what we can find out about this whole situation.
Social media star who murdered his family in 2017 will die for his crimes.
Anthony Milan Ross sentenced to death in Maricopa County Superior Court this morning. But the question is, when will justice be served here? 12 News journalist William Pitts in that courtroom as that sentence was handed down. Will?
Yeah, you can't predict a sentencing, especially when it comes to the death penalty. But there was one clue before the hearing even started that told his family members how this was going to turn out. It only takes one juror to vote for life in prison instead of death. Before the verdict was read, the jury sent the judge a question.
Would it be possible for a defendant to stand when sentence is being read?
That sealed it in my mind as well.
Laura Sutherland knew right then Anthony Milan Ross would die for killing her sister.
He deserves to die. He doesn't deserve to be on this, or he doesn't deserve to breathe. I just wish they could do it sooner.
In 2017, Ross met up with his estranged wife, Iris, then shot her multiple times outside the apartment. Then he went in and shot his 11-year-old son, Nigel, and 8-month-old daughter, Adora. He spent hours barricaded in the apartment before being arrested.
I can't imagine anybody making any other decision after, planning, premeditating, and he had to think about what he was doing before he walked back in the house and killed the baby, and then walk up the set of stairs and killed Nigel.
Ross was a
8 months? 8 months. What possible reason could you have for killing your 8-month-old baby?
viral social media celebrity, a vegan chef who lost a lot of weight and posted videos on social media. But in trial, prosecutors say it was all a lie. They say he was obsessed with the idea of being famous, financing it with his wife's money. She filed for divorce in 2017, and 6 months later, Ross killed his entire family.
The hardest thing was listening to the defense, to try and make excuses for his behavior.
Ross's attorney said he had mental health issues, depression, paranoia. Laura Sutherland didn't buy any of it.
It's been 9 years I waited for this. Actually, today, such a relief. I feel like he got what he deserved.
It's crazy to think that this takes 9 years for them to get through the process of him being sentenced. 9 years. If you're waiting to make sure he doesn't, well, you got to wait for, they would have been knew that he was already convicted, or this conviction sentence. 9 years is a crazy amount of time.
Ross didn't show any reaction at all when the sentence was handed down. One of the jurors, though, had tears streaming down his cheeks. All of them, though, affirmed that verdict. Now, Ross does get an automatic appeal, and in Arizona, it's taking more or less 20 to 25 years for an execution. Ross right now is 53 years old.
So 53, it takes 20, 25 years. So at the oldest he'll be is 78 when he gets his gets put to death. Let's get over into this next video and see what else it tells us.
Our William Pitts was in the courtroom this morning as former Phoenix chef Anthony Milan Ross was sentenced. Will joins us live from the courthouse now. Will, what happened today?
Yeah, Anthony Milan Ross didn't show any reaction to the verdict, but there were tears in the audience. I saw at least one juror that was crying. The hearing started with the jury asking a question. They wanted to know if it was possible for Milan Ross to stand while the verdict was read. The judge said that was not standard practice. The judge didn't make him stand. Now, Anthony Milan Ross was a local celebrity vegan chef. He was popular on social media, known for his weight loss and healthy lifestyle videos, but prosecutors say it was all a lie. They say he was obsessed with the idea of being a celebrity, and it was all funded with his wife's income. When she filed for divorce, prosecutors say he lost it. He shot and killed his wife, his 11-year-old son, and 8-month-old daughter on Christmas Day 2017. He spent 6 hours barricaded in the apartment before giving himself up, and his lawyers claimed he was suffering from mental health issues, depression, and paranoia. He was convicted in November of 3 counts of first-degree murder. Today, the same jury decided he should die for his crimes.
He had to think about what he was doing before he walked back in the house and killed the baby, and then walk up the set of stairs and killed Nigel. So he thought about what he did. So doing that no, he deserves to die. He doesn't deserve to be on this, or he doesn't deserve to breathe. I just wish they could do it sooner.
Understandable emotion. There are some people who, I've said this several times, there are some people in this world who shouldn't be among us. Now, some people don't agree with the death penalty, but I think there are some horrible people like that who should be put to death. I say this all the time, the world's a cold place.
The sentence is death by lethal injection, but that will be many, many years down the road. Ross is entitled to an automatic appeal. That appeal starts now.
And it's crazy that it's not like they could say that he didn't do it, but they tried to put it off and saying that it's the mental health. He was suffering from mental health, so he shouldn't be convicted of these deaths. Basically, plea for insanity, or not guilty by reason of insanity. Let's get over into the AI breakdown just to see what else it tells us about this whole case and see what else we can learn. So as we know, on May 7th, Anthony, a well-known vegan chef and motivational speaker, was sentenced to death for his Christmas Day 2017 murders of his estranged wife and 2 children. So on December 25th, 2017, Ross ended up shooting and killing his 38-year-old estranged wife in a parking lot of the Phoenix apartment complex. He then killed his 11-year-old son, Nigel, and his 10-month-old daughter. I think they said 8 months, so 8 to 10-month daughter, Aurora, inside the apartment. After killing them, he engaged in a 6-hour standoff with the police, during which he falsely claimed the children were still alive and threatened to harm them if officers entered. So he just wanted to kill. It wasn't a case of him trying to take the family and then kill his own. No, he wanted to kill them and try to get away with it. Prosecutors argued that Ross was obsessed with his public celebrity image, largely funded by his own wife's income, and lost it after she filed for divorce. While his defense team argued that the killings were not premeditated and cited struggles with depression, the jury ultimately found him guilty of 3 counts of first-degree murder in November 2025. The jury reached a unanimous decision on May 7th to sentence him to death on all 3 counts. And that's crazy because remember, a death sentence or sentencing someone to death, it requires every single person. One person can be like, I don't agree with the death penalty, and then he just gets a big sentence or life in prison. But every single person said, no, he deserves to die. So in addition to the death sentence, he received 18 years in prison for 17 counts of aggravated assault on a police officer, and 3 counts of aggravated assault stemmed from the murder scene. So any additional details, I wanted to see if we had anything else. Let's see. So the killing happened on Christmas Day. He said he went to the apartment to pick up the children. After she told him that she would not reconcile with him, Ross shot her multiple times in the parking lot. As she tried to flee, witnesses reported stating that he stood over her and shot her several more times after she fell. He wanted her dead. Hours before the shooting, Ross posted a video on social media of himself and his 11-year-old son, Nigel, singing Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Prosecutors pointed to this as evidence that he has calculated nature, appearing normal just hours before the murders. So the defense team, led by his attorney, argued for a life sentence by citing that Ross' childhood trauma, depression, and severe sleep deprivation as factors that gravely impacted his choices. They also noted that he had been drinking heavily on the day of the shooting. As we know, they can't put off drugs or anything as like a defense against actions. So during the sentencing, Ross wore a medical mask and remained seated throughout. Jurors reportedly asked the judge if he could be forced to stand for the reading of the verdict, though the judge noted that that is not a legal requirement. So her sister expressed relief after the death sentence. as we saw. The case was one of several used by local defenses to challenge the county's office intent to seek death penalty in recent years. Ross was ultimately sentenced to death on all 3 counts on May 17th, with an additional on May 7th, and with an additional 18 years of various counts of aggravated assault on a peace officer. Wow. And as we know, he still has a chance to appeal that sentence, but hopefully he cannot get an appeal through. There are some awful people in this world. There's people who deserve to be put to death. But let me know if your thoughts, if this is one of them. Do you agree with the death penalty? Are you morally opposed to it? Now, as a Christian, we are taught to, it's hard balancing Christian realities to how I feel or think things should be in the laws, especially when it comes to things like death penalty. But let me know your thoughts on that situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said.